Hello, Dragon Tubers, and welcome to another live stream / recorded for YouTube series with me, BlueAnkylo, of course. So we're going to play Dragon Quest 1, which, as I was just explaining to the stream, is the first in the Dragon Quest series. You might know it as Dragon Warrior for the NES, but we're going to play the remake, which is on the Super Nintendo, and we'll go into what the differences are as we get into it. Wait, where's my volume? Muted my headset. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna play Dragon Quest or Dragon Warrior, whatever you want. I'll probably call it Dragon Warrior a lot because that's how I grew up knowing it, basically. So yeah, we're playing on the Super Nintendo, and it was originally this cartridge was a Dragon Quest 1 and 2 remake, but it was Japanese only. So to get it in English, there was a fan translation, which I have applied. So hopefully, I haven't actually verified the quality of the patch, but I believe it looks pretty good just from a quick test. And we'll be having a playthrough anyway, so we'll see what happens. Now, before we actually get into Dragon Quest for the Super Nintendo, I want to bring everyone back. Apologies here for cutting out the stream for a second. A little bit of black for just a second while I switch over. I didn't have this perfectly ready to go because it's a little bit tricky. A little bit finicky to do this on the fly. But what I want to show off, just the very beginning of the first episode, is the original Dragon Warrior, just to show it off for a second and to sort of explain why I chose the remake as the actual Let's Play. Now, I might prefer the audio for this one because it brings me back a lot of nostalgia, and I have kind of a thing for 8-bit chiptunes. But yeah, this was the original Dragon Warrior for the NES. And I'm just going to really quickly make a new file and show you the first, like, maybe minute, give or take. One kind of neat trivia fact, depending on what name you put in, the first 4 or 5 letters, you actually get different starting stats and stat growth for your character, which is kind of neat. It's a little perk of this game. So, we're not going to read all the text in the NES version, but essentially, you know, you're the descendant of Erdrick and you're going to go save the world. It's an old school RPG. It doesn't have a whole lot of plot for the first game, but if you know anything about Dragon Quest, you know that they build on it, so it gets more complicated pretty quick. Anyway, so, blah blah blah, he talks forever. Thanks, King. So you move around really slowly. There's actually whenever you stop for a second, your menu pops down, which takes a character press to remove that screen and change your direction. So it's always kind of a delayed turning around corners and stuff, going through mazes. Like, it's hard to explain if you've never played it, but it feels slow and clunky, just moving, basically. Also, you see some treasure on the ground. How do you pick it up? I guess we will search. Oh, it looks like there's a treasure box. Nope. Nice try. You gotta actually take it. So instead of just future RPGs where you just press the A button and immediately pick stuff up, in Dragon Warrior 1 and 2 and 3 and probably 4 for the NES, I think maybe just the first 3 actually, you basically have to do this every time, which is painful. You want to go through a door? You actually have to have not only a key in your inventory, well, you can use the magic key like that or use the door command, which slows it down. Also, staircases. Remember how in every other game in the universe you go down them automatically? Not here. You actually have to menu to go downstairs. You want to talk to a character? You have to menu to talk. So anyway, because of that, I find it kind of difficult to play, especially to record a Let's Play of it, because I will want to show off some of the dialogue of the random villagers, and this is a difficult way to play. This is the traditional overworld map. Also, hello, Nailk. In fact, to the south there, in the swamp, is the final dungeon, which is kind of neat. Now, I'm just gonna try to quickly go to the town and buy a weapon. I just want to show you about how long it takes to get to level 2. Which is all I'm gonna do in this one. Again, remember, we're not Let's Playing this version. I'm just trying to show off a couple things. Even with all this difficult menuing, we'll talk more about decisions when we get to the Super Nintendo version. I'm just gonna buy a club for now to make the first couple fights easier. So, even with all the slow menuing and everything, I would probably still play this version. But it's essentially the experience curve and leveling that basically means I can't Let's Play this. Like, I could put it on super speed, but I don't like doing Let's Plays like that very often. And even that would probably not be fast enough. So, essentially, if you want to play the NES original card of this game, expect a lot of hours of fighting slimes and other easy enemies. So the combat's pretty straightforward for an NES game. It's fine, there's nothing to worry about. But there's a red slime, the second easiest enemy in the game, 1 experience point. There's a blue slime that's slightly weaker. And the truth is, we actually can't survive very many of these fights. I believe they can do between 1 and 3 damage. I think it's between 1 and 3 at our current level. Depends on your stats, whatever they are exactly, but essentially, you'll probably be able to fight 5 or so before you have to go heal up at town anyway. Oh, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy Dragon Warrior 1. This is more of a demonstration of why I didn't want to Let's Play this for very long. This is why we're going to show you the Super Nintendo game that probably a lot fewer people are familiar with because it was Japanese only. And then we'll talk about what makes that a good remake, or a bad remake if it turns out bad. You know, I believe the odds of an encounter in the mountains are something like 1 in 8 tiles you're supposed to get an encounter. The crazy luck today, when I'm trying to get... Basically, I want 7 fights, just so I can show you the first level up. I'm probably not going to stick around that long, because we're going to get to the real game here before too much more time goes on. But essentially, anyway, around town, you'll get 1 experience per fight. It's 7 experience to level 2, which doesn't necessarily mean you can leave this area. And then it's, oh, I don't know, 16 or 17 to level 3, I think, maybe, give or take. The good news is if you die, you don't lose your experience, but you do lose half your gold. So we'll go up here and probably die. We won't have to go very far before we run into something stronger than a slime. There's usually ghosts and drakeys, I guess they're probably called, somewhere around here. Although today we're just going to get killed by red slimes. So it looks like we may actually run out of HP before we even get to level 2, unless we get a blue slime or something. Yeah, I think desert and mountain are the highest encounter rate, and grass is the least, and forest is in the middle. I haven't memorized all the specific details, really, but... Hey, look! We made it to level 2. That's the canonical little jingle for getting the level up. And we got a whole 1 point of power, which does nothing, and 6 points of HP. So that basically gains us nothing. Unless we were at an odd strength value. So no, going from 4 strength to 5 strength does not give you anything, because I believe your attack power is your weapon plus your strength divided by 2, and HP is nice, but it's not going to help us really kill anything. So that's another essentially wasted level, which means now we'd have to fight slimes until we got to level 3, at which point we'd learn the heal spell, with things would get a little bit easier, but we're not going to be able to buy any new weapons for ages either, because it's 120 gold for the next better weapon, and this is a ghost. If we were at full health, we might have been able to kill it. But I actually, because we had only 1 strength, I actually wouldn't have bet on it. Like, the ghost would only give you 3 experience, but it would be better than 1. Anyway, that's the original Dragon Warrior. I have a place for it in my heart, but I do not have a place for it on my channel. So it goes away, and I will switch you guys back to the actual game after spending the first 5 minutes playing around. The actual target of today's Let's Play. Dragon Quest Remake for the Super Nintendo. You get Super Nintendo era graphics and audio, and some improvements. Like the menu music that they didn't add in for a little while. I think it was... I don't remember which game they added in the intro opening music, but it wasn't the first one, as you saw. I have a lot of nostalgia for Dragon Warrior music, for the whole series, Dragon Quest. So, oh, also, this is weird, but because it's a Japanese, not North American release, the select button is in the wrong position for me. You'll probably see me make some menu mistakes because it's the right button rather than the left button or the bottom button for selecting OK or yes. So anyway, we'll just, name our character Blue, no big deal. That's how we roll. And we'll definitely go as fast as we can, because it's still going to take a while. Blue, descendant of the legendary warrior, not Roto. Now, that's one thing that's going to bug me a little bit. You may have noticed in the Dragon Warrior translation, the king mentioned Erdrick as the legendary warrior or legendary hero. The fan translation changes it to Roto, which is stupid, but it's what they do. I think the Game Boy... There's another remake of Dragon Quest 1 that's on the Game Boy Color. And I believe they used Roto or Loto in the official release on that one. And then, therefore, the Super Nintendo fan release used that as well. But I'm a Erdrick fan myself, so... And in fact, if you play Dragon Quest XI, the most recent, they use Erdrick as well. So I think Roto is just completely wrong, and it's the incorrect retcon. We've been awaiting your arrival. Long ago, the legendary warrior Erdrick was given the Ball of Light by the gods. With its powers, he defeated the demons that had covered this world. Then the evil King Dragon Lord appeared. It's the Dragon Lord. He stole the Ball of Light and sealed it away in darkness. Before long, this world may be totally enveloped and destroyed by this darkness. Hero Blue, please defeat the Dragon Lord and return the Ball of Light by any means possible. If you open the treasure chests, over there, the content should aid you in your journey because you locked you into the treasure room. You can't escape without the key. Also, if you speak to the soldiers, that blah 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 tutorial. So yeah, I'm going to be using the more modern naming conventions of Legendary Hero, Dragon Lord, and Erdrick. But, you know, it's no big deal. So what's different? Well, we're on a Super Nintendo, which means, for one, the movement's a little bit smoother than the original Dragon Warrior. Like, you can see just moving left and right, it's a little bit more responsive. If I want to open a chest, I could still go search. Instead of search and take, it's just search, which is sensible. Or I could just press the X button or something, which saves us a ton of time. It's very, very convenient. Otherwise, it's a fairly faithful remake in a sense of, you know, the items and weapons and stuff should be about the same. So let's have a quick look at our menu, our status screen, that's the one. So we've got this is like the Dragon Quest 2, 3, and 4 equipment screen. Dragon Warrior 1 didn't actually have that because you only had one party member. You'd never actually, everything you bought just got equipped automatically. And there's our stats. I actually don't know if they're randomized differently in the remake. They probably are. They look different. We started with 4 strength last time, so stats are a little different. That's no big deal, though. That would happen even if you just named your character differently in the NES version, so... Do I know about Princess Laura? No? Princess Laura is the only beloved daughter of the king. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Gwaelin, actually. So when the queen passed, Princess Gwaelin... Yeah, see, that's the actual name? Interesting. Fan translations. Then half a year ago, the princess was kidnapped by demons, or dragons, actually. It is Dragon Warrior. It's not Demon Warrior. The king doesn't ever speak about that, but I know he is suffering from the depths of his heart. Blue, please go forth and rescue the princess actually named Gwaelin. So yeah, you know, like I said, fan translations, it's all good. I'm mostly playing this because it's, I believe, a superior gameplay experience, and maybe the fan translations could still use some touch-ups, basically. And I am alive, thank you, Ghost of Nose. When you leave the castle, you will see a town. You can purchase weapons. Ah, yes, if this is your first JRPG, perhaps you should buy some equipment. When you open the chests, you'll find a magic key. You can use it exactly once. How would anyone get out of the throne room? I don't know. Anyway, it's just the magic of Dragon Quest. It's always been like this. Oh look! Automatic staircases! So convenient! Yeah, you can save upstairs in the Scrolls of Honor. The king handles the saving in the first 3 games, basically. Yeah, it's good to be back, Ghost of Nose. Trying to get my spirit up again for recording. Although there is a church over there. After Dragon Quest IV, it tended to be churches where you saved, but the first 3 were like kings. Oh, Princess Gwaelin, where could she be? Could she be dead? She's been gone for 6 months! Blue, please forget what I just said. This is not Ratatouille. This is, what's the name of the first castle? Oh man, I should know. Someone remind me what the names of all these places are. Because the fan translations you can't trust. Oh, that's new. There definitely was not medical herbs in the Dragon Warrior version, the NES one. Interesting. Yeah, torches are good for dark caves. That's sensible. And there's monsters in caves, of course. You know, just in case you're wondering. Tantagel, that sounds correct, yeah. See, it's going to throw me off because I don't know why I don't know what the translators were thinking when they're changing names. When the Dragon of Darkness spreads its wings, it marks the arrival of the descendant of Erdrick. May the light shine upon the darkness. Oh god! So this basically, that's a free MP restoration, which is pretty cool, although at the moment we have 0 MP. But eventually we can come back here for free recharges if you don't want to go to the inn, which is definitely convenient if you're short on money. Let's finish exploring the castle, because why not? I'm a traveling merchant. My friends were killed by the Dragon Lord. Poor guy. If you ever play Dragon Quest Builders, the story directly follows this game. And that's probably, if I'm going to remember any town names, it's because I played Dragon Quest Builders, where they talk about the names more. Did you hear? I know. Rumor has it there's a town that was destroyed by the dragons. I don't know why they're calling them demons either. It's the Dragon Lord. So this is the treasury. Can't get in there yet. Nothing terribly important if I remember. To gain experience, kill stuff. I love it. The king will probably tell you how many experience points you need to get to the next level, but we're not going to worry about that right now. It's 7. True love. I think in almost every town, there's actually a story of a girlfriend and boyfriend couple type thing. Warrior Dragon. Oh, actually, I do kind of remember that. Oops. I do believe I actually have heard of that, but it was so long ago, man. I couldn't even tell you how it goes. Alright, so I just want to get around to the back of the castle. Oh look, the door is locked, of course. A magic key is necessary, and you just get one. Oddly enough, that merchant over there sells magic keys, but we can't get there without a magic key. The rich keep getting richer, guys. So yeah, anyway, one day when we have a magic key, we'll be able to go buy more magic keys, but for now, we are not allowed. Okay, so let's go to the town. The town of Breckenary, I believe. Not Ratatouille. It's not Ratatouille. Don't even try it, crazy translators. Welcome, go buy stuff. Alright. So, purchasing. We always start with 120 gold. The way stats work in Dragon Quest, possibly all the games, but especially the early ones, is attack power is almost always the main thing early on. Defense tends to be like divided by 4 in terms of damage reduction. So plus 4 defense probably means minus 1 damage, if I'm remembering correctly. Or maybe that's your agility. Whatever. Point is, generally defense doesn't make a huge difference, but strength makes more of a difference. Anyway, I always buy a club, basically. You could try to hold out until you could afford a copper sword, but it's probably going to save you time, just buy the club. I'm not going to buy the clothes, though, because I don't believe 2 defense is really going to do anything at all, so we'll forget about that. I'd rather save up for useful stuff. So we've got an inn. It's a cheap inn, that's nice. Even the inn has a locked door. Oh, they have this wasn't in the original either, but usually there's a vault to store money in the later games, so that makes sense. Yes, walking in swamps is bad for you. Alright, well, we'll counterclockwise our town. There is one more thing we might buy, actually. Hey, I'm not Princess Laura. Who knows who Princess Laura is? It's the mysterious stepsister that... Wait a second, she's following us? Well, we got a girlfriend, everybody. Congratulations. I actually didn't know that would happen. Yeah, so there's that castle to the south. That is the Dragon Lord's castle. He's probably got the name of it wrong. Alright, so the reason we go to the secret item shop, I'm assuming they still sell it in the remake, is to buy a dragon scale. It's not specifically amazing, but it's cheap and it's 2 defense. And it never gets obsolete. Unlike clothes that get wasted later on, The dragon scale should just give us 2 defense. We could check it in here. I believe our defense has gone up by 2. And it's just one of those little tricks. It's always been there. It's kind of weird. Just equip a scale from a dragon that somebody else killed. I do not have proof. Sorry, we'll learn about that later. Only true descendants of Erdrick have proof. These guys don't even have doors on their houses. Poor schleps. I don't know anything. There's a town that sells magic keys. Interestingly enough, the castle does that too, but you guys apparently are locked out of it. The legendary Minstrel, that's the wrong name for that too. Sheesh, my names are failing me, but that's the wrong name. But this is important. A silver harp was buried in his grave. Someone put the names up there. It's not in one of those towns, though. Spells to undo a curse. Oh, that's right. This is important. I believe this is the only guy in the game that can uncurse you if you do get cursed. You don't need to get cursed, but that's good to remember. I'm sleeping in the corner of the town. Aw, they were all wiped out, and now he's hiding. You know, you could just go to the inn and heal up. Nope, just gonna die there in the corner. Alright, it's fine. Random locked door. Most of these are totally trash, but we'll open them up later on. Be wary of bridges. So that the way the original game sort of changed difficulty areas was every time you crossed a bridge, generally, the encounter type basically went up by 1 rank. Garland. Different game. Close, though. I'm a traveling merchant. Blah, blah, blah. Town of Garai. No, it's a different name. Wonder where they came up with all these random names for alternate towns. Alright. I wish you luck. Have a club. In fact, you start basically naked. You don't even have clothes. You just punch slimes to death. But we were rich enough to buy a club, so things should go a little bit better for us. So, look how much faster the combat is compared to the NES version. Like, it just saves you so much time. Now, originally, a blue slime was worth 1 experience and 1 gold. In the remake, we're getting 2 gold, which is nice, doubled. And the slime, the red slime, if you remember, gave us 1 experience and 2 gold, which is doubled now. So even if the experience requirements and costs of equipment are the same, we're going to level up approximately twice as fast just off of slimes, which saves us a ton of time. It's also possible that the enemies are a little bit weaker. It's hard to say for sure. I haven't really played this version before. There's a little cave down there. We can't even get to it. It's behind a mountain that we have to go a long way to get to. Slightly different jingle. Hey, 2 points of strength, some HP, nothing else. Kind of boring. So yeah, that's, I believe they call it the Mountain Cave. There's not a whole lot exciting in there, but, you know, we'll get there eventually. Wow, yeah. Combat, much quicker in the remake. I like it. I'm not even using frame skip. So there's nothing to the east of town. We basically have to go north through the little mountain pass. The fact that we're one-shotting red slimes, though, definitely makes this a little bit better. I typically wanted to go to level 3 before I left the slime area, though, which is, I believe, 16 experience, which we'll actually get pretty quickly, unlike in the original game. I'm always going to compare it to the original game, because that's what I know. But yeah, like, normally you spent half an hour killing slimes at 1 experience a kill until you got to level 3. And usually you had to go heal a couple times. The sword heals, that's not bad. But yeah, if we're doing 5 damage per fight here, we could probably kill ghosts and drakies, actually. So let's give that a shot. Once we head up to the northern forest, we should find some new... There is some drakies to the southwest in the forest, for sure. But I usually fight ghosts and stuff up here. Magicians could be bad, though. We don't really have enough HP to tank the hurt spell, or whatever they call it now. Because of the fan translation, they'll probably call it I don't know, something totally bonkers. Hey, look, a Drakey! We dodged! That was not very hard. So they usually give you 2 experience and 2 gold. We're getting triple the gold and 50% more experience. I do have a lot of the original Dragon Warrior experience numbers kind of memorized. There's a ghost! The next most dangerous enemy. Yeah, we wouldn't want to fight too many of these. Is this a special run? It's just a run. I don't know. Nothing specifically special. Just testing out the remake, basically. So a bit of strength, speed, vitality. Vitality is a silly one, because it doesn't really mean anything. But we learned the heal spell. There we go. That makes us a lot more survivable. So let's go restore our MP and head a little bit farther out. Yeah, ghosts are good. Probably my best early game experience grind, once you can kill them. And it looks like in the remake you can kill them fairly early on, so... So hopefully, I didn't actually check, but I believe we have more than 3 MP, right? I'm not crazy here. Alright, so that should be full... Oops, not the search button. Yeah, we've got 4 MP. We're not doing amazing for actual stats. But we can now heal up essentially for free. So we never actually had to use the inn in this run, which is nice. It saves us a little bit of money. Speaking of money, what are we at? 96 gold. So I could afford... I believe the small shield is 90 gold, right? It's quite a while off before we can afford a large shield, which is the next... There's only 3 shields, so buying a shield is less of a waste of money because you're not going to upgrade them very often. Whereas you don't want to buy a whole bunch of interim body armor that you're going to change every town. Yeah, or they're calling it the leather shield here. That's fine. They used to call it small shield. That's... I could regret it, but I'll buy it anyway. It's mostly just because I believe the next higher shield is like 900 gold, and then the one after that is like 15,000 or something. So we're not going to be able to buy either of those for quite a while. But speaking of other towns, let's go for a little walk. See if we can make it to town number 2. Yeah, the menu commands for staircases was always a little bit confusing for me. Killing these ghosts so easily, Alright, well, we're gonna go into magician territory. If we get killed by a magician, I'll feel bad. Magicians will probably give us the best money right now that we can, of anything that we can kill. Usually they were what, like 4 experience and 8 gold or 9 gold? I think there might have been some random gold drops on some enemies. But I used to fight a lot of magicians outside of this town. But they do have magic, and magic does damage that ignores your armor, so... See if I can get one before I go into town, basically. We're still just clubbing bats to death, you know, we're not very strong. It's a very friendly-looking bat. Now, there is sort of a mechanic of sort of damage breaking or defense breaking enemies. So as your defense stat goes higher, if it ever matches the enemy's offense stat or their attack stat, they'll start missing. Missing is basically the same as hit you for 0 damage. Although there is an evasion chance for most enemies as well. I believe we probably have enough defense that the Drakeys just can't hurt us. Alright, level 4. Not a lot of great stats. Lots of MP, though, is nice. And the Fireball spell, which is originally known as Hurt and eventually known as Blaze, I think. But Fireball is fine for the Super Nintendo era. Well, the fact that we're already at level 4 is actually quite promising. That did not take very long. Which is good, because there's going to be a lot of grinding. So let's visit... I entered from the wrong side. Crazy! Look at this. if you're familiar with the NES version, whenever you come to this town, whose name eludes me originally, whenever you enter, you always start on the left side of the town. This one, you enter from the right side of the town, which is really weird. Normally, you start over here. Alright, well, let's go to the shop. Hurt and Hurt More. Well, Hurt was the original Blaze, and then Hurt More was Blaze More, as it turned into. Fireball was the multi-target one that they added in the later games, which was eventually something else. I forget what they renamed them all eventually. Okay, a monster kidnapped the princess and flew to the east. We'll probably save her eventually. Oh, tell that person. Just go talk to the person who's going to save her. It's clearly not you. Alright, so this is our upgraded weapon... Or no, this is our item shop. Never mind. Weapon shop's in the bottom. Yeah, Hurt and Hurt More are single target. And they were like the fire 1 and 2 tier spells. Eventually there's a lot more spells, obviously, so they rename things better than Hurt. Very long ago, after a lengthy struggle, the Minstrel, not his real name... If anyone remembers this guy's name, you let me know. Frizzle? Yeah, that's what they turned the multi-target fire into. It was Fireball originally, and then it became Frizzle. That's right. The Minstrel Gurai, or something, ended his long journey in this land and built the town. Therefore, this place is called the town of... No. It's the guy with the harp, the silver harp. It's an important harp. It's all good, Corn Stew. Thanks for stopping by, and I will get these recorded eventually. Or uploaded eventually. Weapon shop. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. So here we go. Better stuff. They've renamed some things, like hand axe to iron axe. The large shield, iron shield, is only 800, but it's still pretty expensive. I'll probably want to buy a copper sword, and then an iron axe, and maybe a chainmail. Basically, I need to be strong enough to fight scorpions and skeletons and stuff to get to the next town where they sell better stuff, like a broadsword and a plate mail. But that's going to take a bit of, well, I don't know. Normally it'd take a fair bit of grinding to afford the weapons and then be strong enough to kill scorpions, because they're pretty tough. Alright, so that's that. What did she say? Ancient mustard? Ancient minstrel? No, not mustard. Alright, we don't need to rest up right now. We're good. Sure. Sing a song. He's actually trying to sing. He's not a very good minstrel. Bards. Can't trust them. Okay, so let's end episode number 1. For those of you watching in the video form, that's the end of episode 1. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. For those on live stream, don't worry, you're fine.